Hello, I've been nominated by Digwell Greenfingers to answer 5 questions and nominate 5 other people. Now, I'm fairly new to YouTube. I've probably only been watching it and actually putting things on there for 6 weeks, maybe a couple of months. And the reason why I actually watch it is because there's not enough TV programmes on TV. You know, gardening programmes on TV. It's very, very limited to think that you've got 1 or 2 when most of the people in the country garden. Anyway, first question is why an allotment? Why an allotment? Now, I remember when I was 7 or 8 years old, my dad taking me up to our allotment. I remember the guy who owned it. He used to have a shop with his wife down our road. I remember the weather on that day. I think it was 1969. And I remember him asking my dad, "Do you want it?" And my dad saying, "Oh yes, I want it. Yes." And we've had it ever since. So it's 50 years next year. Now, sadly, my dad passed away a couple of months ago. But I'm, obviously going to carry it on because it's been in the family for so long, and hopefully when I go that one of my kids or grandchildren or somebody will take it on after me. Now, as I said, I started going there at 8 years old and I helped my dad, and then when I become a teenager I sort of disappeared to go and chase girls. But then I sort of got a little bit older and I went back and got more involved, and then as my dad got older I become more and more involved, and the last few years he's been a bit too, or he was a bit too old to do it, so I was doing it for him, and I used to take him up there in his wheelchair to go and have a look. But yeah, so that's why really. Gardening has always been in our family, and the allotment has been in my family for most of my life. Number 2, why YouTube? Now, I'm on the committee of our allotments at St Mary's Allotments in Leamington Spa, and it's just a way to try and improve communication between ourselves and the plot holders, because a lot of the plot holders who take things on, I wouldn't say don't know what they're doing, but they're novices, so they're inexperienced and they can use all the help they get. Now, personally myself, I go around and speak to the old gardeners. There's nothing better. You can see all the books I've got here. All of these are gardening books. But there's nothing better than actually going and asking the old gardeners for their advice. They've been on there for so long, they know how it works, what varieties works, what to do with your soil, when to do it. And so I'm there every day talking to somebody, asking them questions, because you can never know enough. Now, I've started a vlog for our allotments. Hopefully in 50 years time they will be looking back and saying, oh, that's what our allotments looked like 50 years ago. These are the people who are on our allotments. If only we'd started 50 years ago, I would be able to look back and see my dad when he was a young man. I would be able to see all of the plot holders that people keep talking about, old Charlie and Jim Ryan and all of these guys who were the best gardeners there, ex-chairmen, who gardened there most of their lives, and I never had the opportunity to meet them. But if we'd done a vlog and talked to them and they could show us a few growing tips, then we could look back through all them years, and how fantastic would that be? And my thinking is that hopefully someone in 50 years time would want to do the same. They want to look back 50 years and see what our allotments were like then. So that's why YouTube, mainly historical, so we've got a record of our allotments. Number 3, how long have you been growing? All my life. My mum and dad were always big gardeners. When I was 15 I volunteered to go on a horticulture and gardening course at Moral College. Now, little did I realise that my great granddad, was one of the gardeners at Moral. And when we went up the drive to go to the college, the trees that were planted on the side of the road, he actually helped plant. So it was quite, what's the word, not spooky, but surreal that the college I was going to learn gardening was where my great granddad was a gardener. So I've been growing all my life. My mum and dad, my mum always grew flowers in the garden. My dad used to grow vegetables in our old house. Then when we moved to the new house, he got the allotment. So I've been growing all my life. There's probably been one or two little gaps when I've been a teenager, had a girlfriend who wasn't interested in gardening, but I've always come back, and I always will hopefully come back. It's something I love and something I always want to do. So all my life I've been gardening. What do I grow? Everything. I'm not successful with everything. Most of it I am. Tomatoes, sweet corn, leeks, potatoes, all the brassicas, purple sprouting, Brussels sprouts, cabbages, French beans, runner beans, broad beans. So I'm fairly successful with all of them. There are things that I'm not very successful with, and one of them is swede. I've never really had any good swede. I try, don't do any good. I stop it for a couple of years, read a couple of books, or somebody tells me something, I try again, doesn't work again. So I'll keep trying. I haven't grown any for a couple of years, so I'm going to give it a go this year again. And I always think that you should grow things that you actually like. I love courgettes, I love sweet corn. There's no point in growing something I don't like. So everything I grow, I like. But yeah, I suppose I grow everything. I grow fruit trees. I've got about 30 fruit trees on one of our fruit plots. Apples, pears, plums, cherries, everything. But like most people, I've probably never had a cherry. I'm not that keen on apples. My brother is, but I won't buy one from. I've never bought an apple from the shop, but I always eat the apples at the allotment. Especially my favourite is eating a russet when it's a frosty day, and you take a bite of it, and it's frozen through it a little bit, and it's like eating ice cream. It's absolutely fantastic, brilliant. So I grow everything, vegetables, fruit, everything. Favourite things to grow? I like growing everything, but if I could choose just one crop to eat, it would be purple sprouting. That's got to be my favourite. I love purple sprouting. It's just fantastic. It's something my dad always grew and my mum's always loved, so maybe it's just something that runs in a family. My mum and dad liked it, maybe the genes are passed on to me, so I like purple sprouting. But I can't say that there's anything I don't really like. I mean, I like growing tomatoes in the greenhouse. I like trying different varieties, different colours, yellow, brown ones, black ones, red ones. I like growing the pear-shaped ones, the large ones, the small ones. I like trying different varieties every year. But I like growing everything. I love growing everything. I love being up the allotment, and I love the taste of everything as well. I eat meat, but if I had a choice of a plate of vegetables or a plate of meat, I would choose a plate of vegetables because I love them and I love everything. One of the other things I do love as well is broad beans. I love broad beans, and it is it's March now, March the 2nd now. We're still eating broad beans from the freezer from last year. So, it's great being able to freeze things, grow things that you can freeze so they last longer as well. So that's about it. Now, as I said, I haven't been on here for too long. So nominating people is quite difficult. So what I've done is I've had a look at some of the nice comments on my videos, and I don't know if they have been nominated or not, but I'm going to nominate them, and hopefully they haven't, and we can hear something from them. So 3 are going to be Nick's Allotment Diary, Purple Sweet Pea, and Allotment Life. So that's 3 vloggers on YouTube. And what I'm going to try and do as well is I'm going to try and email Sarah Raven, because I know she's got a YouTube channel, and see if she'll put something on there. And also Nick Hamilton, who is a son of my favourite gardener of all time, Jeff Hamilton. He is one of the main reasons with my family that I actually garden, Jeff Hamilton. And I'm going to see if I can email his son Nick and see if he will do this as well, take part in this. So that's it from me. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.